Hello guys, welcome back to 1878 Blues. Just before we get into this video, if you can like, comment, subscribe, it massively helps. I'm about 8 away from 700, which is something I didn't actually think I'll reach with this channel. So I massively appreciate it a lot. But yeah, let's get into this video. This is my thoughts on Everton's activity in the transfer window and also the season so far, which has been a bit underwhelming, not gonna lie. But yeah, Everton's transfer window to me has been relatively good for what we could do in it and the competition out there, especially from other leagues now trying to take every player. It seems from every club. Yeah, we got some of the positions we've been crying out for as Evertonians, and the media has been going on about for ages that we haven't got a real proper striker at the club who keeps fit and plays a lot of games. We've always struggled to find a replacement for Lukaku, I think, back in the day, but I really don't want to look foolish at the end of, in 6 or 7, 8 months time. But Beto, to me, that signing is a real key signing. It's obviously you'd want a player to score a lot of goals, but I think for the overall team and for us to be a lot more stable in the Premier League, he helps massively in terms of our performances and chances created and whatnot. Yeah, even before he come in, we've had a lot of shots in games. We're about the 4th or 5th highest, I think, in the league in terms of shots and chances created, I think. But we haven't had anyone to stick in the back of the net. Now, he might not necessarily be that player to score 20 league goals in a season. You can't rule it out. But his track record has never really had a prolific goal scoring record at any club he's been at. But for what I see up to now, he just looks like the complete striker. Brings players into play, and he's got a good touch on him. He's got pace. He's just got. He just seems to have like a proper striker's brain. Like he reads football really well, the game really well. Sorry. It just looks a handful, and I'm actually, with Everton's position at the moment, which is currently 17th in the table. I know it's 18th now. I think it's 18th. Yeah. You could look all down and gloomy about it, but I'm slightly positive. Obviously, anxious at the same time that things could quickly go wrong because it has many times at this club. But I'm slightly optimistic that getting players in like that and other players coming back in, like we brought in Ashley Young to me, who's experienced. He hasn't played amazing, he hasn't played really particularly good in the Premier League up to now for us. But I think over time we'll realise how useful he is. Like I say, he's not going to be a world beater. He's 38, but he brings experience to his team. And we ruled out Luca Dean at Aston Villa for most of the season. Well, the rest of the season, I think half the season, he took his position, and Dean struggled to get it back. And they didn't even really want to let him go, to be honest. But I think they realised they needed to move forward, Aston Villa. But ideally, I think Emery might have wanted to keep him. But yeah, Danjuma, obviously a lot of controversial with the signing. I've had me say about it myself, but looking at it now, like, I couldn't blame him at the time to not join us and go to Tottenham. We was in desperate times, which I was devastated that we couldn't get someone like him in last season, because we could have easily gone down last season because of the lack of goals. But he's come in like a breath of fresh air. I'm not going to judge him too much in some of his performances or moments he's had where he could do better. He looks like a player who really knows how to link up with the wing back and the rest of the team. He's looking like he's forming a real good relationship with some of the players around him, which is positive to see. And he scored 2 goals already at this club, which is fantastic. Yeah. Who else have we brought in? Like I said, Beto, unbelievable. Who else have we brought in? God, I can't even think on the top of my head. Oh, Yusuf Chamiti, bit of an odd one to me. I think out of every signing, I'm feeling a bit like about it because it's just a very odd timing with our financial situation at the moment. You know, we're having to structure a lot of deals, and Kevin Farwell's done very good in that in this window, I believe. But it's not as easy to get loads of players in because other teams want money on the dot. They want it right in, or straight up, if you could, say it any better. And we haven't been able to do that with some players. But yeah, really good. A very controversial signing at this moment of time. But hopefully, he can adapt and contribute something to this team. But yeah, we're just gonna have to see in that one. But it's another attacking player, which isn't the worst. But yeah, God, I'm trying to think of the other players we brought in. Jack Harrison as well. Yeah, Jack Harrison on loan is someone who's got experience in the Premier League. I've always rated him. Leeds fans I've seen comment that he's not been very consistent. But, maybe he's just in a struggling Leeds team. Like, it might not be any better here because we're a struggling team ourselves. But I just think he can offer something. And I can think he can offer more than the likes of Damari Gray and Iwobi, who have left this team in this window, which we'll go on about. But yeah, I think the signing's been good. Like I said, ideally, I think a centre back would have made the fans feel a little bit more at ease, because of if Tarkowski had a bit of like a 50-50 kind of start to the season. I think he struggled a bit. I think he might need, the likes of Cody was a leader as well. Maybe you needed someone like that. But yeah, Coleman missing as well as another leader off the pitch, or at least on the bench. But he looks like he's coming back now to full fitness. He's in full fitness training, or full training you could say. So yeah, real positive news on that one as well, which I never thought I would say a few years ago, but I think I'm starting to realise the impact Coleman has at this club in these dire times. But yeah, Tarkowski or Branthwaite getting injured, it's a worry then, and it's a big pressure on Branthwaite as well. He's not very experienced, especially in the Premier League. But up to now, he looks calm, collective, and he's showing real positive signs of being a really good centre back. And I said he played well for PSV, and they wanted to keep him. But any of them two getting injured, you got the likes of Keane, Godfrey coming back in, and doesn't really fill you up with confidence at all. But yeah, incoming's good, outgoings, losing, letting Ellis Sims and Cannon go, which is very odd because they've been more Ellis Sims been involved in the team. There is potential there. I just don't think we've got the time to wait for it. And they're not 17, 18. Sims is 22. I think Cannon's 20. I feel like today, in the modern day footballers at a younger age are progressing a lot more. I don't know why that is. It just feels that way. Maybe I'm wrong, but just see a lot of teenagers putting more influence in games where they used to come on and try and learn and whatever and take part. Now they're like putting the stance on games. They're becoming a key member of the team. Providing making a difference in that. And maybe it's just in our thought process knowing that we could get good money for both of them, which we did. You can't complain about the money we're getting for them. I'm sure there's a lot of players on the list I can't even record if we've let go, but Kabaman leaving, which is something that I don't even know why I brought up, because I played more minutes for Everton than him. Damari Gray, I was a bit sad at the time, but now the way he's been acting is it just puts a sour taste in my mouth. So I'm not devastated that he's left the club. I think on his day he's brilliant, and he has got the skill and the ability. It's just, if you want to reach to the top in football, you've got to be consistent, and he isn't. And that's what this team has been for a very long time. wow, if you're going to say consistent, just in poor form for most of the seasons, especially in the last two, um, and showing up in moments and that, which has obviously pushed us over the line. So he's gone. Iwobi, kind of the same feelings. Not like he's left the club in a bad way, but we've got really good money for him. I don't think you can blame the board or anyone to take up that deal. Iwobi has a stake to claim in to be starts 11 for Everton. Sean Dyche appreciated him massively. He was kind of sad that he went. Didn't want him to go really, but in terms of business, 9 months left in a contract. Wasn't going to sign a new deal. You're just going to be. I reckon more fans will complain that we didn't get the money in for him like that because, like I said, he could be a good player all you want, but the way the club's been ran for a number of years, you're going to have to try and recoup some money for some players, and that is unbelievable because for the past, since he's joined really, even though he's had good moments, a lot of people have still laughed at the fact that we bought him for 35 million. And the fact, we've recouped quite a lot of that money back. Especially with his contract situation, it's unbelievable. I do believe Fulham might regret it, but then again, he could flourish in a side like Fulham. You just don't know, and he's back in London as well. Anyone else I could recall? Tom Davis. Massively surprised that he left, to be honest, because he gave me the impression of someone who's just comfortable sitting on the bench, being involved in the team he supports, and just never gave me the impression of someone wanting to prove that he can play and wants to be a first team regular. Give me again an impression of someone who's actually maybe not enjoying football as much, and is more focused on other things outside of football. But yeah, obviously I've undermined his character and his aim in his career to play more games and be competitive and that. And he's moved to Sheffield United for free, and fair play to him. Hopefully he can kick on well there, just obviously don't do enough to send us down. That will be ideal. I'm surprised with Andre Gomez not leaving the club. And you know what? I was thinking this last night or the night before. I honestly believe Dyche is going to play him. I think he's quite composed in the ball. He's just not aware of what's around him a lot of the times, and he might not do much, but he might just add that level of composure to the squad when it's needed. He can't be a bad player. He played for Barca. He's played for his national side. He isn't awful. He isn't an awful footballer. He's just not probably suited to this league, suited to this team the way it has been. But you don't know. Dyche hasn't really picked him. I don't know what the reason is that for. I don't know if he's been injured. But I have a feeling he's going to get brought back in the team somehow. I do believe he's going to pick up some injuries like we always do, but a lot of them. And I think he will make his way onto that bench at least. He's good passer on the ball when he wants to be. We'll just have to see. Because, you feel like some players have finished with their careers at certain clubs, and then also, a new manager comes in and revives them. And that could be the case of Andre Gomez. Who else have we sold? Oh my god, I feel like we've sold loads. Who's left? Well, Mina left the club, didn't he, anyway? That was the end. Townsend left. Contracts expired. Mina was very frustrating with his injuries, as we all know, but the best defender. He always felt confident when he's playing. Obviously, I was still anxious knowing that he could pull up something, pull up a muscle or whatever at any given moment. Especially when he had to chase the ball down. I was just like anxiously watching him. But yeah, Townsend, really gutted about that. Townsend, to me, was really good for that season. Always a threat. Very underrated in my eyes the way he played for us. And I was gutted when he got injured. I still think he would be staking a name in this team somehow, or having a contributing role to this team at least. Can't remember. This really bad in here if I've forgotten any Everton players. Did pre-plan this in my head. But yeah, can't really think, to be honest. We've sold a lot of, like I said, a lot of players who just haven't been involved really with this team as well. Oh God, I can't remember. I'm probably missing one big name. Anyway, I'll swiftly move on. Don't want to go on too long, but yeah, the season so far has been overwhelming, you could say. Apart from the past few games, I think our football's been a lot better in terms of going forward. Like I said, creating chances after chances. Still, playing a Fulham side who had injuries to key players or suspensions, and then players not getting involved. Well, at least from the starting lineup, I think it was Mitrovic on that game, and we still lost 1-0, and it's we kind of battered them in terms of attack and play, and didn't get a goal. It's massively disappointing in the opening game of the season. You go to Villa, you get absolutely hammered 4-0. Can't complain about that. I just can complain about the way we actually capitulated and the attitude towards the whole performance and everything about it was disgusting. Real cause of concern. You knew that we're going to have a bit of a fight back or whatever in terms of performance and players kind of stepping up. We did in a sense against Wolves, but lost 1-0 at home again. Underwhelming. No striker, like I said, massive concern again. Obviously with that Dominic Calvert-Lewin return against Aston Villa and obviously getting injured, it's just like again, it's like where's our luck? And then the Doncaster 1-2-1. Like I said, we've suddenly match reaction our first half. After that, awful. About 55-60 minutes in, and then we started to play. I think because Doncaster was getting tired, to be perfectly honest. But still, we got that victory just over the line. I said better made a massive difference. And then Sheffield United in a lot of periods we played quite well in my opinion. I just think like lackadaisical defending at times, lack of concentration in vital moments. Sheffield United had a good goal. Our goals are all right. What the second one was. Just the whole style of play just seems to be a bit more of an identity. A lot of pundits are out there and, like I said, big social media influencers who are football related, doing football related content are all just putting us down there, saying, yeah, we're gone, we're dead and buried. I don't believe we are. I'm slightly a bit more positive. I think the better of it, obviously anything can happen to him. The next game he could get injured for 6 months. Touch wood. He doesn't, but it's football, isn't it? I feel a bit more confident when he's in the side. Dominic Calvert-Lewin, there's less pressure on him. Other players to come back as well. We've got so many players out. Oh yeah, we also got rid of Mopay. This is like the second video now I've talked about players getting released or whatever. Well, not the second video, but when I had to speak about something after the match reaction, I had to speak. I think it was against the Sheffield United reaction. I had to briefly mention about the transfer window and who we sold on the last day and whatnot. Mopay's gone back to Brentford as well, which is it'd probably be better for him. But he did look like he could link up a bit. Like that was his kind of position, like just behind the centre forward. But who knows? Is it a mistake? Probably not. But you don't know in football. He could just play brilliantly for Brentford now, and we'll look back at it going, we've used him completely wrong. But I forgot what I was going with that, to be honest. But we've I feel a lot more positive with our team anyway. And like I said, players coming back, back on track. Coleman, Harrison, Calvert-Lewin, hopefully Garner can start playing through the middle. I just want to see what he's about because everyone seems to rave about him. I've not been fully convinced with him anyway, even when he's played a bit more central. But got to give him time. Like I said, I feel optimistic. I think Dice mentioned as well in a press conference that the squad doesn't look as bulky now. But when all the players come back, and yes, you can, other players who have been playing could get injured, so again, it decreases the size of the squad again, or the available squad. But we have got a lot of players out, and when they all come back, the bench is going to look a lot better. There's more competition. I said, we could hopefully as well, like the likes of Dobbin, not forced to play him. We kind of play him when we can. Kind of gradually pull him into the squad. He has got pace, the lad. You know what I mean? He played all right for Derby, scored some goals, but from what I've seen up to now, he just looks like someone who's really lacking any confidence in this league. It's like there's no belief when I watch him play that he can do something in the game. It's like he's just participating and trying to impress too much maybe. But hopefully Dobbin can, have an input in this team. It'd be nice to see a youngster come through and actually do bits for this team. I know we've had Anthony Gordon and that, but it was, it's a bit controversial if he's actually done bits for us. But he was in the Stars 11 a lot, so you can say he's kind of made it through the academy. But yeah. Anyway, that's my thoughts up to now. Like I said, we've got the game against Arsenal next week. I'll do a pre-match preview for that, and then obviously my reaction. Might do a video in between if any updates or any news comes from Everton. Been a bit quiet for the past few days, especially on Twitter as well. Just been absolutely boiling hot in this room, and it still is. But I thought I might as well do a video now. I've been just getting out of the house because, like I said, these houses in England aren't made for the heat, and I'm not made for the heat. So yeah, more videos coming soon, and yeah, I'll see you all soon. Like I said, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you at some point this week in another video.